Thingkho Le Malcha, by KSO Media and Documentation Cell, issue number 58, Wednesday, 8 November, 2023. Headlines. 1 among 4 missing Kukis reportedly lynched, murdered in Impal. Meiteis continue indiscriminate firing towards Kuki-zo villages in Kongui district. Meitei Assam Rifles CO abets Myanmar-based Meitei terrorists' infiltration bid to India. NISO decries centre's failure to bring peace back to Manipur. Thingkho holds rally in support of Naga peace process. Transnational conspiracy case, Moarangathe Anand Singh withdraws bail plea from Nia court. Insane Meitei's false information will cost the whole Meiteis dearly in the long run. Who is in charge of Manipur? Thingkho Le Malcha. Relief Center update. Rostad Memorial High School Relief Center. Compound Veng, Lamka. Managed by Young Vifi Association, YVA, General Headquarters. Total inmates registered, 693. Male, 347. Female, 346. Kuki victims update as on October 16, 2023. Deaths, 146. Villages burnt, 200 plus. Houses burnt, 7,000 plus. Churches and synagogues burnt, 360. Displaced persons, 41,425. 1 among 4 missing Kukis reportedly lynched, murdered in Impal. One of the 4 missing persons from yesterday's incident at Kangchup Chingkong, Mr. Jamkathang Langhal, was said to be tortured and lynched by the Meitei militants. A video surfaced on social media platforms where the said individual was made to run for his life with no way out of their grasp. He was publicly tortured and later killed. Reports from some eyewitnesses present in the vicinity suggested that the deceased's body was tortured to an extent that his body could be folded like a paper. Meitei Nongsa and Athuba, brave and courageous Meiteis, have once again proved their mettle by meting out such inhumane treatment to yet another innocent and helpless Kuki individual. The individual was traveling to Kangpokpi district, along with 4 others, when they lost their way and headed towards the Meitei-dominated area. They were waylaid and captured by the Meitei mob. Yet another innocent life is mercilessly taken only because he belonged to the Kuki community. Such inhumane show of strength to a helpless individual is no sign of bravery and courage in any form, although the culprits call themselves Athuba and Nongsa. Will this prompt a swift action from the state security force? Will there be an action against the culprits? Will the central government depute an investigation team to nab the culprits, similar to earlier instances where the alleged kidnapping and killing of Meitei youths with no concrete evidence were swiftly carried out? Kuki-zo lives matter too. And the differential treatment to different communities by the governments, both state and center, reaffirms the legitimacy of the demand for a separate administration by the Kuki-zo community. Meiteis continue indiscriminate firing towards Kuki-zo villages in Kongui district. Indiscriminate gun firings by the majority Meiteis radicalized armed groups continued the whole day in the peripheral areas of Al Tangnam, Hairrail, and Lamung villages under Kongui district, Manipur. The firings came from the Meitei inhabited area of Kutruk. From today's early morning till night, the Meitei armed groups including police commandos, Arambai Tengal and Meitei Lipun began unprovoked firing towards the Kuki-zo areas. The firing occurred in intervals including shelling of bombs or mortars. The Kuki volunteers however responded with few rounds of fires towards them. As per sources from the ground, the firings came from a distance and as such no serious gun battle occurred in the area. There was also no report of casualty from the side of the Kuki volunteers. After sufficient uneasy rests, the majority Meiteis radicalized armed groups had resumed their attacks to the Kuki-zo villages since yesterday in the peripheral areas where the Meiteis and Kukis inhabited districts meet, surrounding the valley of Impal. The firing incidents were reported from Mapho Kuki village, Kangchup, Tingkai and Harathal areas of Kangpokpi district. Tension still ran high after 5 Kuki-zo civilians, who lost their way near Kangchup Chingkong, were captured by the Meitei mob led by the radicalized armed groups. 1 Mongloan Haokip, amongst the 5 persons, was beaten and left to die with severe head injuries and later airlifted to a neighboring state. The other individuals are reported to be missing as their whereabouts are still unknown. Meitei Assam Rifles CO abets Myanmar-based Meitei terrorists' infiltration bid to India. With inputs received from Ground Zero, the commanding officer of 1st Assam Rifles at Ceylon was reportedly abetting the infiltration bid of Meitei terrorists to India from Myanmar. The Meitei militants were trying to enter India illegally from Myanmar via Ivamjang village, bordering India, Manipur, and Myanmar. Locals said that at around 7 p.m. on Wednesday, some Meitei militants tried to cross over to India through Ivamjang village. The CO of 1AR, Colonel S.B. Sharma, who is a Meitei, tried to illegally welcome those Meitei militants to India. At Ivamjang village, the militants took shelter at the nearby dense forest and took captive 4 agricultural laborers. Later, the 4 villagers were sent to the village to take food and warned of dire consequences if they did not return. This illegal infiltration bid and the act of Assam Rifles CO has caused an alarming situation in the area. It may be noted here that after heavy exchange of fire between PDF and Meitei militants at Kainan in Myanmar, the Meitei militants took shelter at Ivamjang village and sought the support of Meitei Assam Rifles officer. Angered over the deliberate act of the Assam Rifles official, the locals in the region gathered at around New Samtal Assam Rifles camp in a bid to stop the transportation of Meitei militants to Impal Valley. The Assam Rifles CO was reportedly planning to transport the militants to Impal Valley and had already arranged a truck for their transportation. The CO is now flexing his muscles and authority against the locals by forcing them to accept his plans. Till the time of filing this report, womenfolks in the area gathered in large number to block the transportation of Meitei militants into the Impal Valley. It may be recalled that Dingpi area under Kengjoy subdivision in Chundel district on September 2 protested against the proposed deployment of Assam Rifles unit under the command of a Meitei officer at Salin, Chundel district. TLM views, one of the many baseless allegations leveled by the majority Meitei against the Kuki Zo people is their projection of Kuki Zo people as a threat to national security, which doesn't hold water. It is the Meitei militants who had been waging war against the Indian government from their hideouts that poses a serious threat to national security. The constant ban on various national importance day including the Independence Day and the Republic Day is a testimony to this fact. Several attacks and ambush on central security forces by the Meitei militants is a perfect display of their secessionist movement, which itself is a threat to the national integrity of India. NISO decries center's failure to bring peace back to Manipur. The NISO, Northeast Students Organization, is going to organize demonstrations in all the state capitals of the northeastern states on November 9, 2023, as a result of the failure of the central government in bringing back peace to the state of Manipur. In a statement issued to the media today, NISO President Samuel Jerwa and Secretary General Mutsukoyo Yobu revealed that the NISO took this decision at its October 31, 2023 Executive Committee meeting held in Guwahati. The statement said that the center had failed utterly to bring peace back to Manipur for the past 6 months. Lives and property are not secured in Manipur, where the students seem to have a bleak future. The center has to take result-oriented measures to bring back peace in Manipur. Had such incidents occurred in any other state in the rest of India, the center would have taken prompt action to restore peace, besides law and order, the statement said. NISO's advisor, Samujal Bhattacharjia, said, the unrest in Manipur has continued for about 6 months, but the center has turned a blind eye to all that is happening in the state. In this hour of crisis, Manipur is not alone. We, from all other states of the northeast, are with the people of Manipur. The statement quoted ASU's president-in-charge, Upal Sarma, and General Secretary, Sankar Jyoti Barua, as saying, the center has failed to deliver justice to the people of Manipur. The center lacks the will to solve the problems in Manipur. Thingkho holds rally in support of Naga peace process. In support of the ongoing peace talk between India and NSCNIM, around 5,000 students participated in the rally organized by Thingkho Katamneo Saklong, Students' Union, at Ukral Town on Wednesday. Wednesday's rally is organized to show support at the backdrop of peace talk being held at New Delhi between the NSCNIM and India today. The political dialogue is being held between the collective leadership of NSCNIM who are spearheading the peace talk and the peace process. Speaking at the rally, CAO of Wang Thingkho region, Aung Sai stated that no single individual owns or owned the Naga movement. It is a people's movement. Everyone should be in the forefront of Naga political movement. Nagas have not submitted to be ruled by anyone, and that is our political uniqueness. There is a delay in flag and constitution, which is our core issue. There is no compromise on our core issue. Students in huge numbers came out demanding to expedite the Indo-Naga peace process. The rallyists shouted slogans such as implement, framework agreement, we want solution, in solidarity with collective leadership, etc. The rally started at 2 points and converged at Ukral Town Ground for a public meeting. Transnational conspiracy case, Moarangathe Anand Singh withdraws bail plea from NIA court. The NIA Special Court on November 8 informed that the bail plea of accused Moarangathe Anand Singh, arrested in relation to the Manipur transnational conspiracy case, has been withdrawn. Lawyers of Moarangathe Anand Singh on November 8 informed the additional sessions judge Sachin Gupta that the bail application was withdrawn without pressing or without going on merit. Recently, the NIA, in its reply, opposed the bail plea and said that Moarangathe Anand Singh has an association with a proscribed organization and was arrested with sophisticated arms and ammunition along with his associates in an area affected by the ongoing strife. If the accused is released on bail, it will cause hardship to the ongoing investigation, and considering the history of the accused, there is a high probability that he shall again indulge in the same activities, which will exacerbate the present security situation in the state of Manipur, submitted the NIA. The accused was in communication with several of his associates during this period of ethnic unrest in the state of Manipur, and considering the present situation, there is a very high probability that he will abscond and/or indulge in detrimental activities to influence other suspects, witnesses, etc. by various means, including tampering with the evidence if he is not kept in judicial custody during the period of investigation, submitted the NIA. According to the NIA, the accused was brought to New Delhi after his arrest and produced before the Delhi court on September 23, 2023. After his custodial remand to the NIA, the court later sent him into judicial custody. The additional sessions judge, Sachin Gupta, on October 27, 2023, after noting down the submissions made in the reply copy filed by the NIA, fixed November 8, 2023, for arguments on the bail plea. Advocates Ashish Kashyap, Rahul Kumar, and David Ahansangam appeared for Moirangathe Anand Singh. According to the NIA, it was revealed during the field investigation that 5 accused persons having links with terror outfits operating in Manipur were arrested by the Manipur State Police and that accused Moirangathe Anand Singh was arrested by the NIA on September 22, 2023, from Impal West Police Station. Earlier, the NIA submitted in court that the revelations made by the accused be further corroborated through a detailed investigation, including identification and examination of potential leads and individuals related to the matter. The accused is a trained cadre of proscribed organizations and was in communication with several of his associates during this period of ethnic unrest in the state of Manipur. NIA had registered a Soa Moto case on July 19, 2023, in New Delhi under the various sections of the Indian Penal Code and the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act (UAPA). The NIA said an investigation revealed that, in furtherance of the conspiracy hatched by the leadership based in Myanmar of insurgent groups and proscribed terrorist organizations, they are recruiting overground workers, OGWs, cadres, and sympathizers to augment their strength to carry out attacks on security forces and opposing ethnic groups by exploiting current unrest in the state of Manipur. For this purpose, the aforementioned leadership is collecting arms, ammunition, and explosives by unlawful means, including plunder and pillage of government facilities and resources, NIA added. Insane Meite's false information will cost the whole Meites dearly in the long run. The Meitei media houses of Impal Valley have claimed that about 8 Kuki militants had been killed in the firing incidents yesterday, and videos of Meitei radicals celebrating those deaths have surfaced on social media. It is imbecilic to have such fake news reports from such uninformed media houses based in Impal. The fact, however, is that there has been no report of such casualties amongst the Kuki community, and such false reports were made deliberately by some self-interested individuals, aiming at only one thing, that is to garner support from the majority Meitei populace and maintain their strong hand images by the radicalized armed groups in cohort with top political leadership of the Meitei community. Except the 4 Kuki civilians who were waylaid by the Meitei mob in the aftermath of losing their way near Thingkho Chinkong yesterday, none of the Kukizo people even sustained minor injury in yesterday's violent incidents. 1 Mongluan Haokip, who was beaten and left to die with severe head injuries and later airlifted to a neighboring state, was reported by Kuki groups, while other individuals are reported to be missing as their whereabouts are still unknown. The Meitei media based in Impal Valley has failed to uphold their integrity as journalists by reporting pre-fed lies from the government and the armed radicals since the initial days of the violence. The reports of Meitei deaths have always been falsely reported, while the Kuki deaths are always exaggerated to high numbers. To note here is that the sane Meitei civilians do not have any second thoughts on the authenticity of such reports and assume all reports to be facts and the numbers thereof are true. The Arambai Tengal, Meitei Li Pun and several state government officials under N. Biren Singh has assumed total control of the media and censored all news reports to maintain the status quo, and any reports which could damage the victorious image created by the said groups are censored. Blatant lies have been told to the kin of deceased. When questions are raised by the family, they are told that the children are defending the Meitei villages. There is a huge disparity in the manner of condolence given to the different groups amongst the Meiteis themselves. Some parents have come onto social media platforms asking for help to locate the bodies of their children, but their cry found no ears. Whereas, a certain death would generate huge public outcry and grand processions. Many Meitei mothers have cried, prayed and approached officials to hand over their children or at least their lifeless body if deceased. Some deaths have no mention in any reports and their bodies left to rot in the open. Their deaths are meaningless and hold no value to the same person who recruited them to fight for an unjust cause, yet the Meitei populace is easily swayed by such lies and false reports. The media is intentionally reporting lies to defame the Kukis in every possible way, to plant the seed of fanaticism on the minds of the innocent Meitei youths and recruit them thereafter to fight for a cause they are ignorant of. Some individuals with vested interest took advantage of the nationalist feeling of the youths for a different purpose which is not nationalistic in any imaginable way. The self-styled leaders deliver speeches and openly call on the radicalized youth for manpower in their war against the Kuki community, sacrificing the lives of the poor lads in the process. The media houses would never report the fact that it is them who started the ongoing conflict by acting upon a fake news. They use everything in their power to capitalize on such fake propagandas to garner support. Fake reports are written and publicized to the extent that the whole Meitei populace, with no thought of checking on the authenticity, grasp it as the truth. Dear sane Meiteis, the false narratives and propagandas created by your leaders from top to bottom and complicit with their cohorts will cost you dearly in the long run. Your civilization is doomed the more you spread false information and if your false propagandists are at work. To the radicalized Métis, you should remember that it is dangerous to sit in your comfort zone and write a narrative or false propaganda that will influence the sane young minds and give wrong information purely for your own benefits. Who is in charge of Manipur? In 2017, the Bharatiya Janata Party in Manipur cobbled up a majority and formed a National Democratic Alliance government for the first time. Then, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh proved his political acumen by mustering sufficient support in the face of strong attempts by the Congress to win the Rajya Sabha MP seat, and succeeded in sending Maharaja Sanajaba Laishemba to the Rajya Sabha as a BJP MP. Looking back, one can say that CM Biren had made significant compromises when it came to showing his true character in the first term. The BJP returned to power in 2022 with a resounding single-party majority. They formed the government with participation of other parties even though they did not need their support in the assembly. CM Biren inducted a few not-so-tall yet youthful elected representatives as ministers. They owed their allegiance to the CM, who ignored more experienced and qualified MLAs. In the course of a year in his second term, CM Biren gradually began wielding enormous power through ministers loyal to him. The CM and the Rajya Sabha MP Laishemba are understood to have heavily promoted the Meitei Lipun and Arambai Tengal respectively, with the stated objective of promoting Meitei culture and traditions, including the traditional martial arts. With no one to challenge Biren's authority, the state government slipped into what is called a kakistocracy, a government formed by the least suitable or competent citizens of a state. There were no opposing voices in the Council of Ministers and young cadre under the Arambai Tengal and Meitei Lipun were loyal to Biren. The first disquiet occurred in Churachandpur district leading to the bold eviction of allegedly illegal settlements of immigrants from Myanmar in the protected forest. The wound was raw when out of the blue the Manipur High Court passed an order in April 2023 directing the Manipur government to send the Meitei demand for scheduled tribe status to the union government. The order of the Manipur HC provoked a strong reaction from the Hill Areas Committee as custodian of all matters that would affect the welfare of the tribes in the hill areas. It also triggered a peaceful protest by the tribal students on May 3 in all hill district headquarters except in Churachandpur where the post-protest disbursement of students turned violent. The people in Churachandpur district were already unhappy with the state government over the eviction. Among them, resentment had grown against the Métis, who were seen as powerful and enjoying the government's attention. The Métis are already an advanced community according to the Kaka Kalakar report of 1956. They also wield political power by virtue of holding 40 seats out of 60 in the state assembly and dominates the administration. It was felt that the Métis now proposed formally subjugate the tribes of Manipur by becoming ST and grab all reserved posts and tribal lands and forcibly reduce tribal population through use of administrative machinery dominated by Métis. The tribal youth, already faced with lack of development of the hill areas, neglect, deprivation and unemployment, felt they had been pushed against the wall. In this modern world of internet technology nothing can be hidden from people and the youth are more aware of discrimination than ever before. The violence started in Churachandpur district in the afternoon of May 3, but the most surprising thing was the short response time for retaliation to it in Imphal. By the afternoon of May 3, violence and killings started in the streets of Imphal city with Kuki houses set aflame and people killed. These continued unabated for weeks. Many wondered at how the reaction of the Arambai Tengal and Meitei Lipun had military precision. Meitei youth attired in black uniform perpetrated violence and arson in Imphal city from the night of May 3 itself. The mob knew exactly which houses to target. As mobs ruled the streets, looted and burned down Kuki houses and the police watched the mayhem, the government of Manipur sunk to a new low of mobocracy. This is a government ruled by mob or mass of people and the intimidation of legitimate authorities. The state government did not even try to stop the mobs, according to many who have written first-person accounts. Now, women have been identified as leading some mobs and blocking roads. The women, popularly known as Mira Pibus, are believed to have given support to the radical elements that raided police armories and looted more than 4,000 guns, supported the village volunteer armed youths, snatched 12 armed militants from the army, blocked and prevented action by army that resulted in the deaths of 2 village volunteers and on June 30, blocked Biren's convoy while he was on his way to submit his resignation. If this is not a mobocracy, what is? It was only on arrival of the Central Security Forces that a modicum of normalcy returned in Imphal city for a few hours, but the looting, arson and killing continued, unabated, everywhere. Mobs accosted people in the street and asked if they were Kukis or Nagas. All Kukis have fled Imphal city now and their houses have been razed to the ground. The Meitei and Kuki villages in the periphery of the hill slope and Imphal valley are deserted and houses were burned down on both sides. Monsoon has arrived and there is no cultivation in either sides of the valley adjoining the hill slopes. The poor people will become poorer. The Union Home Minister stayed for 3 days from May 29 to June 1 and announced a slew of measures for relief, security and peace overtures, but there was nothing concrete. The peace committee under the governor became a non-starter mainly on account of the Kukis objecting to the presence of Biren. Many complain that authorities are going easy on those who have stolen arms. Police personnel guarding the armories are reported to have retained Aadhaar cards while giving away guns. No action has been taken by the state government against erring policemen. No action has been taken against the Mira Pibus who, among other things, got the army to free 12 miscreants. These are clear cases fit for filing furs. What is the role of the CM in the current crisis? Why is the union government and the ruling party not removing him to facilitate reconciliation? Kuki government employees cannot come back to their jobs in Impal, and yet the government has issued orders of no work, no pay. How can they return when they have no houses to return to? Even their government-allotted quarters have been burned or damaged. There is an unspoken advisory among the Métis that accommodations should not be rented to Kukis. This advisory also applies to landlords of other communities. The Kukis are still refusing to be part of any committee where CM Biren is present. No headway has been made on peace efforts. There have been no official peace talks between the two feuding communities. An alternative is to allow Biren to remain as CM and give him the concrete responsibility of bringing peace. Stern action has to be taken against the known perpetrators of violence from both feuding communities. He should be tasked to oversee the restoration of all looted and illegal guns. Exemplary treatment should be meted out uniformly to both the feuding communities without bias and in fairness. He should be also tasked to open up the national highway from Impal to Dimapur block at Kangpokpi area. If these three big tickets are delivered, perhaps victims will be open to peace talks. And the state will not suffer under a CM who has allowed mobs to dictate terms to his government. First published by The Wire. Ngarami Shimre is a New Delhi-based social activist belonging to Naga community.